What's good, everybody? Welcome to the closing beat. Got a little head start there. Hope you're having a great day so far. This is a special week, really, for us here. We are doing sort of a day-by-day progression of your retirement plan and your number. If you've never watched this before, if you actually go back over the past couple days from this video, you're able to see where we started. We talked about creating a retirement plan. We talked about finding your retirement number. How much in a salary do you want to pay yourself? And we also talked about then how to invest for that goal so that you're not just guessing about your investments. Now, we're financial advisors with Jazz Wealth. Says on the shirt there, and the pop-up on the screen. So we manage retirement accounts. We help you come up with that number. We're here to just teach you. If you decide we're a good fit for you, I hope you'll check us out on our website, SEC Fiduciary, Registered Financial Advisors, and we also let you keep your account in your name. We never, ever, ever touch your money. We can manage it. We can choose the investments. We can't choose for that money to leave your account. That's a big deal. And we take that very seriously. So the next phase in our process today is the hardest for people. We get to see lots of people have retirement accounts. People come and go, of course, and a lot of times they go because they need to take their dough and use it for something they shouldn't be using. So I'm actually very thankful that we've had nobody leave us throwing stuff at us or getting mad that we did something wrong or they just didn't like the service. We've had a lot of people that have said, hey, little something's happened to me. I need $1,000. And I go, oh, you have to pay tax on that. Oh my God, you can't get the money somewhere else? And they're like, no. I'm like, that's going to cost you like $300 to take $1,000 out. That's ridiculous. All because people can't get their dough straight, right? Now, a lot of you are fine and you get it. It's a simple thing to do, but it does happen. And so to be a good investor in anything, I know real estate's popular right now, Bitcoin is popular, pot stocks are popular. If you're interested in any of that, if you want to be good at it, you've got to have your dough straight. Simple as that. And that's just a funny way of saying you've got to budget your money. You got to know where it's going. Now, I am a little different in this respect where I just like to know that the dollars coming in are greater than the dollars coming out. That's your starting point. So if you've never done a budget before, your first starting point is to go, do I have more money at the end of a given time period than I started with? You have bills. We all have things we have to pay for, things we like to pay for, and things we wish we didn't have to pay for. But it's a starting point, right? So you know, great, at the end of the month, I'm short $150. Something's wrong, right? So you know to dig in from there. If at the end of the month you're positive by $1,018 or whatever it is, you go, great, that's exciting. Can I do better? Can I make it $1,100? Can I make it $1,200? See, it entices you to go and be a part of your finances. Now, I'm going to give you 4 tips today, and a lot of them have to do with your budget. And so really, you just have to do it, right? I don't know how else to say it. There's no good tip that anyone can give you to start messing with your budget, to start looking at your finances. You just have to do it. It's one of those things where you have to sit down and do it. Nobody's going to force you. I'm not going to call and yell at you. I've thought about that, actually, making it something where somebody pays me like $20 a month to call and give them a hard time. It would be the most ridiculous service ever offered in history, but I've always thought, I'll bet you people would pay for that if I called and said, hey, I want to look at your budget. Or if they did it and I looked at it, I bet you people would pay for that, even though I would feel horrible as a person taking money for that, because you don't need to pay for it, of course. So let's give you 4 tips. Let's get started here and we'll keep this. Oops, that was from yesterday. All right, well, that's our towels. If you're one of our customers and the stock market's got you a little scared, let me know. I'll send you a towel. Number 1, here's the thing when it comes to budgets. You sit down, you get stressed out, or you log it all into Mint, or maybe you use Nest Egg here at Jazz. You use some other kind of spreadsheet or something, and then you just get overwhelmed. And it's no fun. I have a brother right now who's struggling trying to get his dough straight, and I guess I gave him away because I only have one brother. But he knows it. He's trying to put things together. Young guy, he's got plenty of time. And it's overwhelming, right, to know where things go. The first thing I want you to know is when you plug stuff in there, don't go crazy with trying to figure out what you're going to budget for. You tend to seek out people that want to help you with your budget. You tend to seek out videos of people. Maybe you're watching this because you're trying to figure out your budget. And most people are going to tell you, you don't eat out, you shop around for your car insurance, you stop spending money on beer, wine, whatever your habit or your vice is. And that's ridiculous, right? So you can budget for anything you want. That's the beauty of this game. And I want to tell you real quick, I always use one guy in particular. He doesn't mind. He's told me I could even say his name, but I'm not going to say his name. It's a customer of ours out in Vegas. And he budgets very well, by the way. But one of his biggest expenses, you know what his biggest expense is that he budgets for on a monthly basis? It's gambling. He lives very modestly, in my opinion. He doesn't really have, it's not a flashy car, and he's had it for a long time. He does very well with his money, but he chooses to spend large sums of money gambling with his friends. That's what he does, right? And so it's totally cool if a guy like that wants to spend his money that way, because he's not going under. At the end of the month, he's got plenty of money left over, and he just chooses to gamble. That's his thing. I don't know if it's a vice. He's actually pretty good at it, but that's what he does. I have another customer who's working, how can I say this? They're working on an invention, and it's a physical thing that they're working on, and so they're making prototypes. And he realized that these are going to get ridiculously expensive to keep prototyping, and he's really fine-tuning this. I mean, I would love, when it becomes public, I really want to share it with you. It's a great one. So if you're watching, let me know where you're at. I would share it on this video. But what he's done is he's budgeted in his personal finances to put money towards this invention until he's ready to really get started with the company and actually officially set it all up. So he budgets for that. I have actually here, I don't know if I'll get in trouble for this, but this book, this is a book, let me see, a customer sent it to me. It's from like 1940 something. I haven't looked at it in a long time. It's a customer of ours likes to budget for collecting old Wall Street memorabilia, and he sent me this a while back. I don't know if you can see it. It's the San Francisco Stock Exchange booklet. It's the sort of the organizational booklet that you get when you started. Obviously, there is no San Francisco Stock Exchange. It's from way back. And, you know, like, just in case the SEC is watching, the value of this book is under $100, as I am required to say. But he budgets for that, and not to send me gifts, but to collect himself. And great. So you don't have to go crazy saying, I'm not going to eat out, I'm not going to go do all these fun things. Just make sure you know how much money is going to that, and right? No problem. Number 2, when you do start your budget and you start putting things down or importing them into your spreadsheets, you're going to adjust the small dough first. You're going to want to make changes. You're going to put this into your spreadsheet and go, I spend how much at Wawa or at you know, the gas station, Circle K or whatever? That's absurd. Starbucks is a good one that everybody always talks about. So you're going to want to make changes, and where you start is with the small money that you want to change. We got to get it right here first. In order to get your dough straight, you got to get your mind right, and to get your mind right, you have to find pleasure in budgeting your money. If you are not happy about doing this, you are not going to do well. I've been there. I didn't want to do it, right? So you have to find pleasure in these things. And so when somebody finds that they spend too much on a parking meter downtown because they go visit a friend, or I don't know, I can't think of something at the moment, but when you find something that you think is ridiculous in your budget, you will want to change it. My suggestion is you start with the small things first, okay? You're going to start with maybe what you spend to eat out. You're going to tell yourself, I like eating out. I like going to Chipotle or wherever it is, but can I do it a little less? Or maybe do I need to get the chips and guac every time? Can I get chips and salsa and save $1? Could I, not get the chips altogether? I don't eat all of them anyways. You see how I'm like from personal experience? So adjust the small things first. You're going to work your way down to the big ticket items, right? Now those take longer, so you're going to adjust the small dough first and plan for the large dough later. You know what I'm talking about? Can you read any of that? So adjusting what you pay towards debt, whether it's more or less or whatever you're doing, adjusting your food budget, adjusting your grocery budget, clipping coupons, whatever you decide to do, you are going to start there. It's the fastest way for you to feel pleasure that you're doing the right thing. You're going to start planning for your large items. If you take this seriously and you go crazy here, you can start planning for the next car that you're going to buy, specifically how you're going to buy it, the house that you live in, could you downsize, or if you rent, could you move to a different place? Do you even want to, right? You can start planning for that. That's like turning a big ship, right? That's going to take time. This is turning a jet ski. You could turn a jet ski on a dime and you smile the whole time. Turning a big ship takes a little bit of time, so adjust small, plan for the large adjustments. On our website, I actually have a budgeting class. I believe it's still up there, where I go over the large purchases, exactly how you do it, right? So that you don't end up upside down in a car ever again. And I'm not one of those guys that's like, well, you just pay cash for it. No, if you want to finance a car, I actually show you the exact steps on how to do it, how to finance it, you name it, so that your large purchases can't sink you in the future. So if you want to check that out, I don't sell classes, by the way. So all of that money, anytime someone buys that class, it 100% goes to support Drum Corps International, DCI, if you know or a fan. I'm a huge fan, huge supporter. So all of it goes towards that. There's no like, oh, we'll use some of it to pay for that or whatever. Every last penny of it goes towards that. I do not want to be in the habit of selling classes, but it's on there. Every one of our customers gets it for free. If you're one of our customers and you don't have the budgeting class, let me know. Happy to send it to you. Support@Jazz Wealth. Actually, you'll get it faster that way. Okay, number 3, for your getting your dough straight. I'm going to spell it. I spelled it. Your spouse. Oh man. You play tug of war with your spouse to get them on board with your budget. A lot of times it's your fault. Like, that might lose some subscribers. I hope it doesn't. Maybe it loses some viewers. But most of the time what I see is when somebody calls and says, I want to get my spouse on board, you're expecting too much out of your spouse. Simple as that. Some spouses, some people will like to get into the nitty-gritty with that. But keep in mind, you two are opposite people, right? You were attracted by some things and you are completely different in other things. If you are very detailed oriented and this person can take the CEO approach, the 10,000 foot view, then let them have the 10,000 foot view, you be detailed. A lot of times the spouse that is doing the budgeting says, you need to know every penny that we're spending. Is that really true, right? Do they need to know exactly that? I mean, they need to be engaged. I'm not saying that at all. They've got to be engaged in the finances. But do they need to know absolutely everything? I don't think so at all. They can be the one that oversees how things are going and looks at sort of an overview while you can stress about every penny. It may be the other way around if you like. If you handle the budget, but you're sort of generally doing it, let them make the fine-tuned tweaks there. If you do that, you will avoid a lot of fights. I always joke about something that me and my wife do. My wife likes the 10,000 foot view. We had a deal. We had a deal from day one. And the deal was, I'll do the money, and I promise I will do everything for our money to improve it, right? And she will do medical. Anything that goes wrong, so, like you hear me, I got a little something wrong, I went right to her. So when I start feeling a little bit weird, I go right to her and go, baby, check me out. Put the thing on my chest. Something's wrong. Something's going on. Give me the mask. I need something. And so that's what happens. So she's number one for that. I'm number one for the money. I don't care what's wrong with me right now. My throat's a little bit whatever, head's a little messy. I actually don't care what it is that I have to take to get there. I don't need to know the medication. I don't need to know what illness I may have. All I care about is they get fixed. I trust that she will make the right decision, and she's done me right? Now, I will do the same with the money. When she asked me, this is not a joke, this is sort of funny, but we really do this. When she asked me, a couple weeks ago, her and my daughter went to Orlando. They were supposed to go for a college tour. They ended up skipping the college tour, going to Animal Kingdom, and going shopping. So that was a topic for discussion, right? Because they were supposed to go to the college tour. They didn't make it to the college tour. They went to Disney. Disney is not college, right? So we had that talk. But the point was, when she went over there, she had asked, okay, to maybe do some shopping or do something fun. And I always say green light. Right? So for me, I'll say green light, yellow light, red light. And it's just a joke. It's a fast 10,000 foot view way for her to know, good, I can spend some money. And she knows over the years that doesn't mean spend $100,000 at Disney World, right? Don't have it. So I always say green light, right? Or if we already did a trip and we spent some money, I'll say red light, right? And it sounds stupid when I say it actually to the general public, but she gets it. And we've worked this out over the years, and I'll just say yellow light, red light, or whatever, and she gets it, and she's cool with that. That's how, I mean, she's more engaged than that, but that's a real quick way to how to get your spouse on board. And it's kind of funny when you say it to them and they laugh or whatever. And if I say red light to my wife and she can't think back that we just went on some kind of a trip or something, if I say red light and nothing's happened, she's going to go, why red light? Let's talk about this. We haven't been anywhere. We didn't buy anything big. Everything seems normal. Then we got to talk about it. Why? Well, yeah, come to find out, why can't we spend any money? Oh, you know, it was this or that or whatever. Or we paid more on, you know, a car or house or whatever it is. So there you go, something you can use. Okay, number 4, let's do it. So number 1, don't get crazy with this budgeting thing. Just, you know, just do it. Number 2, adjust the small stuff first, plan for the large changes and things after that. Number 3, spouse, spend a little time on that one. You know, you want to make sure they get kind of into it there. And then the last thing, once you get going and you get comfortable, you are not going crazy, you enjoy the process, you have done all this other stuff, then it becomes time to get efficient, right? How can you make every dollar count for more than it counted in the past? What can you do, right? And so the answer might be here, okay, I've got money in savings, I've got my emergency savings and everything. Can you put it in a high interest savings account? There's no excuse these days. You got to have a high interest savings account. Why banks still offer regular savings accounts blows my mind. Like, I mean, I know why they offer them, but why people do that, there's no need to have your money there. Move it to a high interest savings account. Small adjustment, takes you 5 minutes. You get a lot more interest on your money. It's just sitting there anyway. So become more efficient with your money. If you have an advisor, if you're working with me, a financial advisor, make me go through your investments. We know what we're doing here for you, but if you have other investments, let's get together. Let's go through, I'll go through anything you want. So make your advisor help you become more efficient. Or if you have a friend or trusted financial person, then ask them, right? Get them to go through it. So that's pretty much it, right? Just a couple things that we've never really talked about too much before to help you get your dough straight so you can invest correctly and keep that consistent without having to stress about maybe investing too much. So far this week, we helped you develop your plan, the retirement plan, in a different way. We helped you decide what your number is. We told you exactly how to do that as far as it's your annual salary that you're going to look at. So a different way to do that. Now that you've got that figured out, you know how to invest. See how we went step by step? Yesterday we did how do you invest for your goal. Today we're doing getting your dough straight. That's why I always tell people, get everything started, get your dough straight. Let's see what's going on there. And tomorrow we're going to do saving for your kids. What are your options and what's the pros and cons of each one? Because your kids always come last, by the way. They come last. And I use the analogy of the airplane, right? Put the mask on yourself before you put the mask on your kid, because if you pass out trying to put the mask on your kid and it doesn't get put on, your kid's not going to put their mask on. So you invest for yourself first so you don't end up living with your kid because you're broke. So simple as that. Okay, my wife hates budgeting. No, she doesn't hate it. Disney, yeah, well, what's funny is my daughter came back and she's like, did you know I could work at Disney? I'm like, okay. That was a long conversation. I would have loved to have recorded that one, actually. You would love a studio apartment instead of roommates, and now I'm doing a bit of analysis over the last couple of months. Yeah, great. Perfect. High interest savings is the only way you can get sleep at night. That's a smart one, right? A lot of people don't hear about it, they don't think about it, but they're making a comeback. And so the more those guys are willing to pay, the more I'm going to push you to put your emergency savings there. Not your day-to-day, you know, I pluck from savings because, oops, I accidentally took too much from my checking and put it into my savings. Not that account. I'm talking about the emergency savings there. Anyways, well, that'll pretty much wrap it up for us here as of now. We've got the closing beat coming up today at 5 o'clock. And I don't know if you saw the market today, but there's a lot to talk about. If you like earnings stocks, we will be talking about them today at 5 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your day if I don't see you, and we'll talk to you soon.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.
Hey, wait! Before you go watch one of our other great videos, have you had a chance to see our new Fin Tips videos? They focus on one topic at a time, covering investing, personal finance, and anything that can quickly help you with your dough. Best of all, we'll keep it real short, because we know time is money.